welcome back to the Markie channel. In true Markie fashion, I am going to, quite frankly, beg for a couple minutes. Because you've heard me for the past couple of weeks talking about how I've got a new channel coming away, and I've been like, go and subscribe to it, but there has been no videos on the channel as of then. But that was until earlier today when we uploaded the first video on the channel, and from now on, we're going to be uploading 2 videos a week now that the channel started. It's something I've never really done before, which is make a channel with a group of my friends and just kind of do whatever we want to do and just try and enjoy it as much as we can. So if you are interested, please scroll down, it's linked in the description, and if you do enjoy the video, please subscribe. That'd be lovely. In all seriousness, it is kind of a bit of like a passion project for me. Like, it's something that I really want to try and make the most out of, and it's probably somewhere I'm going to be putting a lot of my time into. So yeah, if you do want to support, it's there. But either way, for this video, it's going to be another topics video where we start with the smaller stuff and we work our way with the bigger stuff. You guys know how this works. And we're actually going to be starting with the Mum's Basement podcast, okay? Because FaZe Banks, who is obviously a part of the podcast, goes on to talk about how he and Jason Nash kind of make like hate-free jokes in their spare time off camera.
And we just crack, you already know, we just crack the funniest humor the whole time. Just like, I don't know. Because in the real world, like, you know, sometimes we run into these like weird little H3 situations where people just are just really just talking shit. You know what I mean? Like back and forth. It's all talk. It's just fucking, you know, Twitter fingers. Yeah. But in the real world, bro, people don't behave like that. They don't operate that way. So it's funny to be in like real life situations at like an event or a party or something social like that, and it just hits you. It kind of hits everyone. Like, shit is so dumb.
Now, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't really understand what the premise of the story was too much, but he does go on to talk about how like hate-free and these other people have like Twitter fingers and only say this stuff like online, but in the real world it's very, very different, which is all fine and dandy. Like, if you don't like channels that talk about people, then that's completely fair enough. Everyone has their personal preference. If you don't enjoy it, you don't enjoy it. But you do a podcast with Keemstar, like, make your mind up. By the way, I don't think there's any problem with him being friends with Keemstar. It just doesn't really make sense to me how he can like say stuff about like these channels or like Twitter things and stuff, and then have a podcast with someone who kind of does a similar thing. Like, it doesn't really make much sense to me, but let me know your thoughts down below. Now, moving on to the next topic, okay, we're going to be talking about the Ace family. Now, you remember a few weeks ago, we were talking about, in like one of like the 50 videos we covered on the Ace family recently, we spoke about how their home was potentially getting put up for auction. Now, if you remember, a bunch of documents came out suggesting this, and this all came after all the lawsuits that came around, like literally over $100 million worth of lawsuits against the Ace family. Now, Catherine McBroom on her Snapchat actually answered a question about this apparent auction, and actually answered with a very, very big message that actually kind of said nothing. So Valerie here said, your house is being up for auction, why are you guys acting like nothing? To which Catherine's replied saying, no, my love, I've not spoken about any of this publicly, but if I did, I think most of the hateful people that wish us pain and failure would feel very stupid for ever assuming the worst. It's just not fair how people can just assume that I don't pay my bills or something. That's so far from character and much more. I think people forget that we built our house and that we are in a pandemic. Most cities are closed and unable to take permits, etc. Not a thing in the world has to do with money. Many people work from home now. It's like we are living in a different world due to this pandemic. Things happen, but not for the reasons people wish. The saddest part of this is that there are actual people losing their homes with nowhere to go, and to see people make fun of the idea of losing a home is sick. Wish people well, love heart. So like I said, Catherine does seem to have a talent in saying a lot of words without actually really saying anything. She didn't really answer the question, quite frankly. She just said, like, can people not wish the worst for people? Which, I get what she's trying to say, but at the end of the day, there's a big difference between people who work like a minimum wage job, getting laid off due to the pandemic, and struggling with bills for the next, like, year and a half and struggling to get work, compared to someone who is a multi-millionaire who might have to move from their $10 million house to a $1 million house. Like, how will you survive? So I think that's the difference, okay? I feel like if people assumed that if you got your house auctioned, you'd be in big, big trouble and have nowhere to live, the jokes would probably stop. But that's not the case, quite frankly, is it, right? You want about 47 Rolls Royces, let's be honest. But either way, moving on to the next topic, okay? We spoke about a few days ago how Jeffree Star and Shane Dawson were apparently doing this, like, collab. Like, this might be, like, kind of, like, Shane Dawson's big return to a YouTube video. Turns out it wasn't, quite frankly. I mean, Jeffree just FaceTimed him for, like, a minute. Now, I've got to be honest, I did think it was going to be like an in-person video, you know, like they'd just go around like talking, catching up or whatever while they're looking at some makeup. Turns out, no, it was a FaceTime, and I really struggled to get through it, let's just say that.
Cue me and Shane moving to farms. Oh my god, I can't breathe.
That was funny. Just has such an evil laugh. Like, I'm convinced he plays a character sometimes. Like, that's the way I'd see, like, a Bond villain laugh in a movie or something. Like, okay. But yeah, they don't really talk about anything, to be honest. He kind of just like talks over Shane. Shane actually says about 4 words in the whole thing. So yeah, it wasn't what we exactly expected it to be. Shane Dawson has appeared in a Jeffree Star video. Maybe that means that he might appear in other people's videos or might return sometime soon, trying to ease his way into there. But who knows? Let me know your thoughts. What do you think of this video? What do you think of him returning in general? Now for the next topic, I want to start it off with a bit of a question. How many times do you think we've spoken in a video about how Trisha Paytas and the Ethan Klein drama might have ended? They might have went their separate ways and they're no longer speaking about each other. The answer's quite a few, right? They were all wrong, because Trish Paytas uploaded a video just yesterday talking about Ethan and talking about how she was kind of pissed off about a soundbite that Ethan was using in his podcast.
The podcast clip that was, you know, I'll just say it, from the H3 that called me a freaking, they did a soundbite that said shut up bitch or something, and they eliminated it from the original video that Ethan put out about me, but they put it out again, and in that moment I felt so angry. I was like, wow, this is so like disgusting. How do they think they're not doing anything wrong? They're egging this on. And I thought, you know what, if I engage back, which I'm sort of doing now, I'm breaking my own rule, you know, one, I'm no better, because as far as I'm concerned, if I'm trash down here, they're right there with me, like egging me on, and then putting that as the highlight in the title after they said, you know, all this stuff, I'm done with this person, whatever, and you're still talking about me. I was just like, oh, you know, it did make me angry, but I had to like disengage. Obviously, I'm not titling this video that. I think that's gross, like to title it that when you're like, oh, I'm not talking to this person, whatever.
So there you have it. Okay, Trisha is pissed off because in a H3 podcast, there was a soundbite played that said, shut up, bitch. Or something like that, I believe. Which I can kind of guess why that'd be a bit like annoying if you're meant to be going your separate ways and they're still using like sound bites off you and whatnot. But like, it's not really that deep. It's not deep enough to speak about in a video like this and start saying how they're fucking disgusting and all this stuff. Realistically, right? Like, especially after all the stuff that's happened recently, this really isn't that big of a deal compared to the rest of the stuff, like all the family problems that's been caused from this whole drama. I'm not saying that one person caused it, but just the whole drama itself. It's caused a lot of problems, okay? And obviously Trisha kind of went on this like a big like apology streak, kind of saying like, oh, I'm not going to speak about them anymore. Like, let's go our separate ways. And it seems like that isn't exactly the case, okay? Now, I'd love to know your thoughts next. I feel like it might be a bit split, like obviously because Ethan used the soundbite in the first place, which might not seem that deep, but is that just egging Trisha on? Let me know your thoughts. Like, do you think this is ever going to end? Because quite frankly, I don't. Like, I'm not even going to say it anymore. Like, they're going to keep throwing jabs at each other. We might even go a few months without a jab, but there'll be one eventually, won't there? I mean, this is like Trisha and Ethan we're talking about. How long's this been going on for? But yeah, either way, that is going to be it for the video. I hope you enjoy. If you did, please do leave a like down below. Also, remember the new channel is linked in the description with the first video out there right now. If you do enjoy it, let me know. Obviously, there's going to be 2 videos a week on that channel, and nothing changes on this channel, of course. And yeah, I guess until the next one, I'll see you guys in a bit. Goodbye.